Searching for this all my life. You're just my type. I've been looking for a boy who can treat me right. Your dark hair, because eyes so bright.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another week of Scheananigans. I've got two of my favorite ladies in the studio with me today. Kiki, Janet, how we doing?
Good.
Yeah, pretty good.
Yeah, so we were just talking. Pretty good?
I mean, you know, I don't know how you guys do it. Like, I just taking care and keeping myself alive and two cats is, I don't know how you do it with like kids and all that. I am tired.
Yeah, kids and cats.
Yeah.
I'm tired. I've been up since 4 a.m.
And let me tell you, my cats actually, at their old age now, they are quite a bit of work.
Really?
Like the morning routine with them, I can't just run out the door. I need to feed them the wet food. I have to put medicine like probiotics in the wet food and then the lysine powder on top of the wet food. Then I have to crush up an anti-nausea pill and also put high blood pressure medication on Penny's ear.
Oh.
What do you
every
do?
day.
You have finger condoms for something
That's
for your
for
cats.
the ear, for the ear meds I have to do.
Got a
Her-
drawer full of finger condoms.
wow.
High blood pressure. I mean,
I
yeah.
have some stuff
so-
to look forward to in their future. Great.
You do. I know. And now, I mean, their food is expensive.
That's true. I do buy expensive food. I have been doing that for a while.
And the one good thing I will say is everything on Chewy, like whenever I'm like, oh shoot, like I just dumped the last of their dry food.
Yeah.
It comes like next day.
Yeah.
So I'm like, thank God. All of the prescriptions and things, like it's very easy to do.
Yeah.
But
I just have it on autopilot. Like they're
The
just
auto
tossing
ship?
litter over my gate.
Love
yeah, right. I know. I have the litter, the food, all of it. It's
This probably shouldn't make me want a cat, but now I want a cat. Jason's allergic.
if you
though.
get a cat, I know he is.
Oh, but that's like, did you watch the Baldwins this week?
No, I saw clips on TikTok.
Oh, okay. Well, Alec Baldwin is apparently like deathly allergic to cats, and Hilaria bought 4 of them, and now I'm convinced that she's just trying to kill him.
Wow. Good for
Trying to-
her,
Yeah.
honestly.
He's trying to give him cat scratch fever.
No, you can tell she really does love him, and they do love each other. But does what she
4?
wants. 4 cats, 8 animals total. 7 kids, 8 animals. 4 cats are part of those 8 animals. Yeah.
And how is she?
That's
She still
wild.
looks put together, too. I'm very confused by that. How do you have that many things to take care of and still do it?
I mean, I'm sure you see nannies in the background, and she's
Yeah.
also only 40. I mean, he's 66. She's 40.
Yeah.
So when he's like kind of creaking around, she
Yeah.
also looks, and she was a yoga instructor, so she already has that.
Still, even with nannies, somebody has to manage those nannies, tell them when to show up, what to do. It's like, that's a lot of things to take care of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
good
I think it's Alec who's doing it. He has OCD, we're learning in this first episode.
Oh, I'll have to watch.
Well, she says it's OCD. I'm like, I think you just have 7 kids and 8 animals and you want to keep things clean. That's what it sounds like, but I don't know.
Fair.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Okay. So I need you to fill me in on what should I be watching right now? Because until the Valley starts, I feel like I've got some downtime right now. Going to do a little bit of traveling in March. But I actually, for the first time in a very long time, have some time to binge a new show.
Okay. I mean, if you're looking for scripted, like right now I just binged 0 Day on Netflix, which is
Okay.
a limited series. So it's only 6 episodes.
Love that.
It's like apocalyptic. If you're into that sort of thing, that
Rob
was really
would love
fun.
that.
If you want to go back a little, I don't know if you saw Shrinking on Apple TV. I really
No.
loved Shrinking, and it's very, LA, Pasadena based. So it's really fun to watch.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah. So, I mean, for scripted, I'm going with that. I mean, if you want to catch up on reality, to me, Southern Hospitality is like the new VPR.
Girl, I'm caught up.
Okay, good. All right.
I
Okay.
binged all because I have time right now. So I did. I've never watched it fully the last 2 seasons. I know TJ, Maddie, Grace, Lily, Joe. Like I know so many of them just from when they started out. Our old showrunner had thankfully left Vanderpump Rules to go start Southern Hospitality.
Okay.
But I remember one night at Schwartz and Sandy's years ago, he brought in Joe and I think TJ and some of the cast. So I became friends with them before the show had even aired.
Okay.
I watched the first episode, and at the time, I mean, however, Summer's maybe, I don't know, 2 years old or whatever. I was just like, I don't have this in me for the young kids. It wasn't my cup of tea. But then last season, Brock's friend Scheana was on it a little bit. And so we caught a little bit here and there. But again, I was like, it's kind of chaotic. And then this season, I was like, you know what? I had a call with TJ. He kind of filled me in on what was happening and had invited me on their Vegas trip and stuff. I couldn't go. But I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to give it a shot. And now I'm like, okay, the show's actually really fucking good.
It's really good.
It's really good.
I haven't started it yet, but I've met a couple of them, TJ, Joe, a handful of them. They're all super nice and fun.
Yeah.
I'm kind of saving it for like when I need if I get the flu or something where I can just binge something really good all the way through.
Yeah. Okay, so tell me, have you watched it from the beginning?
I've watched it from the beginning. And the first season, it wasn't as good. I was kind of like, but I'm going to give it another shot because I know it takes a while to get your footing. And now I'm like, I'm invested. These are I want to know the drama. I am into it.
Okay, so as someone who's watched from the beginning, how do we feel about Maddie and Joe as a couple?
I don't like it. I think she's going to dump him. He's going to be completely heartbroken. He's not ready for it. Like, she wants to be in that relationship because it's like she was with a cheater. She wants something secure, but he's on top of her. It's too much. And I still have questions. I have questions about like, because when Leva came on your show, we talked to her because there was this storyline with him and TJ,
right?
Which they've brought up this season, but I feel like they're dancing around it because Leva said something about like, you know, these kids, they're very fluid in their sexuality. And so I was kind of like, okay, we're going to see some stuff. But that bar scene between TJ and Joe, I feel like they have cut out a lot of it. And I need to get to like, maybe it'll come out at the reunion. I don't know, but
I feel like we're not getting the full story.
Yeah.
I saw bits and pieces of this. So TJ and Joe drunkenly slept in the same bed together. And then in the middle of the night, one of them spooned the other thinking, like
Joe.
forgetting where
Thinking
they
like,
were?
oh, maybe it was a girlfriend. And then...
And I thought maybe there was a little poke, you know, like
right.
And that's what they're making it sound like. There was like a little poke, but I feel like there was more than a poke. I don't know, but it just feels like the way TJ is very upset.
Yeah.
It feels like there was more than a cuddle.
I low-key want to call him right now and see if he would spill, but it's probably a storyline that's playing out. So maybe in a few weeks. I think they only have a couple episodes left, so maybe we'll save that. But I'm like,
I'm into the fluid of this.
Yes,
like let's
I want some more spank bank material. So if this is how I'm going to get it, give it to me.
But like, I love Lake. Is she new this season?
She's new.
And what about Molly?
Molly, wait, which one? Molly's on Southern Charm.
No.
Molly.
The blonde.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's on Southern Charm. We have Sally.
Not Sally.
No.
Sally's on Southern Charm.
Oh, Sally's on Southern Charm.
Molly.
But Molly's on Southern Charm too.
Is she?
Yeah. She's the one that likes Shep.
Wait, what? Okay, see, I don't watch Southern
She was
Charm.
the one that's on America's Next Top Model. And she
Okay, but wait, we're talking about the same Molly, right?
Yes, she does live in Charleston, but she's on Southern Charm this season. And then the new person, I'm trying to think there is a blonde this season. I can't remember her name. She
Molly
is really
Moore.
rich. Oh, is her name Molly too?
Yeah.
Oh, I guess they only have a few names down south.
This one.
Yes. Okay. All right. I didn't realize her name was Molly.
Okay. Yeah. I was like, wait, no, I really like her, but I think she's new also.
She's new.
Okay. So see, I don't feel that behind because I'm like, oh, I love her. I love Lake. And this is the first season. So I'm just getting introduced to them. But I do like how Lake is fluid, you know?
Yeah.
I think she's adorable.
I mean, she brought her, you know, the girl that was her friend that she's been seeing. It seems like she's way more into that girl than she ever was into Bradley.
Yeah. But I like seeing that.
Yeah.
It's fun.
Yeah.
And I think now too, though, which there's something that I want to get into later on not like a fun, happy side, but I watch things differently now as a mom. And when I'm watching this show and I'm watching just like adorable 21, now 22-year-old Lake, and I'm like, oh my God, that's going to be Summer one day. And like Summer, like I'm thinking about the future and I'm like, no, I can't. Like we're not even applying for kindergartens yet. Okay. So I'm like, I feel like I have so much time until we get there. But then also, I mean, I blinked and she's going to be 4 in April. So it does go so quick. But now when I'm watching the shows of these like young 20-something-year-olds, I'm like, I'm going to have one of those one day.
That's so funny that you're at that point instead of looking at it as like, oh, that's my younger self. Or like, that's how I was
I used
like
to.
a decade or two, you
totally
know.
used to. And I feel like when I first watched Southern Hospitality, Grace Lilly, I was like, okay, is she the Scheana? But then this season I'm watching, I'm like, ooh, Emmy's kind of giving Scheana season 6.
Oh my God.
Not in good ways. Feel like between Grace Lilly, not on the shaman side, she's a little more that way than I am. But I'm a combination of Emmy and Grace Lilly.
Interesting.
Just watching it. So I do see that.
Yeah.
But then also when I was watching Lake, I just
you like feel protective.
Yeah, I was just like, oh, she's a baby, and like also like I'm old enough to be her mom.
Also, you just gave someone in college a great thesis. They're going to go back and watch Scheana season 6.
There you go.
And be like, and the comparisons to Emmy.
Right?
Yes. I love it.
But yeah, so just watching the shows now, I watch it with a different eye.
But I also wonder, because like when I watch the show, I think about like, could I watch this with my parents knowing what a whore I am. Like, I used to be a hoe, right? I was in my hoe days. And like, I think about that. Like, I don't know if I could sit on a couch and be like, hey, do you want to see my new show? I was hooking up with this one. Like, I don't know what your relationship with your parents was in talking about sex. I learned all my sex from like HBO. Like, like it was.
I feel like my mom and I didn't have like a talk, but I've always been like pretty open. I feel like I don't know, not details of like my single life, but like, oh, I'm seeing this person or I hooked up with that guy or this. No details.
Okay.
But my mom pretty much knows everything I've ever done in my whole life.
Oh, wow.
My mom knows way too much about me.
Really?
For sure. Yeah. But I also feel like as a kid, parents lived, and this is something I get into deeper in the book, but they lived separately until they got married. And so whenever we would go and stay at my dad's house, I would sneak downstairs because they had the Playboy channel, and I would literally like watch porn at like 8 years old. I didn't even know what I was watching. I was just like, wow, it always ends up the same and they're naked. And like, that's so crazy. Like they were just at a car wash and now they're on the car. So maybe that's where like the hoe in me came out, was just at a young age. I was like, and no one said it was okay. No one allowed me to watch this.
Do you think Erica and Ron knew you were checking out the Playboy channel?
Probably not. But I think what it was one time, maybe it was on, and like, say I fell asleep on the couch or something, and I like woke up and was like, what is this? And then I was like, oh, I want to go back and find that channel. I don't really recall. I just do know that maybe that's also why as an adult I don't watch porn, is because I just did so much when I was younger.
Yeah, I feel like
That's
I was
really
like
funny.
into like learning that. I even tricked my mom into buying my first vibrator because like you remember like at the Sharper Image they sold massagers. And I was like, I just want one of those for Christmas.
A facial massager. Pinpoint facial massager.
Oh my God. The amount of times I've left my vibrator in the shower and then it's housekeeper day and I'm like,
Oh,
I hope she thinks it was for my face.
Oh no.
Well, the worst is like I'm a single woman, so like I've accidentally left mine like in the living room because you never know when you're gonna like need, like you're just like, oh, I'm gonna masturbate on the couch all day.
Oh, I miss those days.
know.
But she just uses her hand.
Oh, you can do
I don't
that.
do
I
toys.
can't. I'm not a manual girl. I can't do
Same.
it.
I feel like I'm just too lazy to do toy stuff.
That's too much work.
That's too much work. And after COVID, honestly, I feel like my clitoris just was like, it's never. It's gonna need a toy for the rest of its life.
I love this.
On that
love
note,
this.
we're going to take a quick little break and we'll be right back. All right, y'all. Are you ready to optimize your nutrition this year? Factor is for you. Factor is for me. Factor is for everyone, okay? Factor has chef-made gourmet meals that make eating well easy. They're dietitian approved and ready to heat and eat in just 2 minutes so you can fuel right and feel great no matter what life throws at you. If you are a busy mom, just a busy person, whatever it may be, and you don't feel like cooking all the time and you're on the go and you need something quick, Factor is for you. These meals arrive fresh and fully prepared, perfect for any active, busy lifestyle like my own. Lose up to 8 pounds in 8 weeks with Factor keto meals based on a randomized controlled clinical trial with Factor keto. Results may vary depending on diet and exercise, but also with 40 options across 8 dietary preferences on the menu each week, it's easy to pick meals tailored to your goals. Choose from preferences like Calorie Smart, Protein Plus, or as I mentioned, keto. Factor can help you feel your best all day long with wholesome smoothies, breakfast, grab-and-go snacks, and more add-ons, juices. Oh my gosh, so good. Literally, we fight over them in this household. Reach your goals this year with ingredients you can trust and convenience that can't be beat. So eat smart with Factor. Get started at factormeals.com/factorpodcast and use code factorpodcast to get 50% off your first box plus free shipping. Again, that's code factorpodcast at factormeals.com/factorpodcast to get 50% off plus free shipping on your first box.
Okay. Scheana didn't masturbate before me. I convinced her to.
And we're back.
I was like, you have to
She
do
wasn't
this.
there for it. It
No,
just,
I wasn't there in person. I was just like, you need to go home and this is your homework. You got to do this.
Yeah.
I think it started when it was the guest we had on. She was like a sex therapist on Scheananigans
Emily
years ago.
Something, yeah.
And she brought me a vibrator and I was like, oh, you can take it back. I'm not going to use this. And Janet's like, take it.
I'm like, you need to.
Yes.
Like,
I always
you were
take, yeah.
you were wired tight, or is that what it's? You were tightly wound even more back then. And then I feel like as soon as you started self-pleasure,
Well, that came with Brock.
Yeah.
So we were in San Diego one day and I was getting my bag out of the car and he started grabbing other stuff and I was like, oh, no, just this bag. And he's like, whoa, what's this? And I was like, no, it was just from a podcast. Like, I don't just travel with vibrators. Like, she got me like several. I just had them in my car. And he was like, we should try this. And I was like, no. Like, I've never done that. And he's like, well, we should try it. And then we did. And I'm like, what have I been missing out on?
I love that so much.
So now it's just like we do it together. And
there's probably a record on the podcast from a long time ago of you saying like, oh, I don't need to do that. I'll just have a man when and I'm like, no, you don't want all of your pleasure to come from yourself.
Yeah. So there we go. Best of both worlds. Thanks to Janet. Okay, I have a lot of fun topics to talk about today, but one thing I noticed on our drive over here, passed by a really long line of people waiting at Hailey Bieber's pop-up. Is it called Road?
Oh, yeah.
Or whatever. And you know what I've come to realize about people in LA is they love to wait in lines. Why is that?
Oh, that's what I hate about people in LA because I hate waiting in lines, but everyone here will wait in the longest line for everything.
Yeah.
A sneaker drop.
Oh,
Trader
God.
Joe's has like limited edition grocery bags that people are waiting in line for. There was a thermos giveaway one time that Jason and I were like, what's going on here? And it was literally they were giving away an off-brand Stanley. Not even the real deal.
Yeah, I felt like Taco Bell did a collab with Yeasty Boy Bagels. And I was like, oh, bagels are my thing. The line was literally like wrapped around 2 city blocks. And I was like, no.
I will say though, they have professional line standers.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
You can pay someone and it's not that bad to stand in line. A lot of the sneakerheads do it.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard Janet say bagel?
No, wait, do you say it like me?
I guess I say it weird.
Say it.
Bagel.
Oh, I think that's how I say it too. Bagel. Do I say it weird? Bagel.
Is she saying it the same way?
I feel like you said it a little more normal right now.
Bagel. Jason proposed over bagels, and every time I tell the story, people are like, oh, okay, it's cute, but what did you say? And I'm like, never mind. So now I'm just like, he proposed over breakfast.
What's it that Brittany says? Naked.
Oh yeah, naked.
I'm naked.
Naked. I'm like, what?
Naked.
Naked. She doesn't get it. When you say naked, she's like, yeah, as I said, naked.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
naked.
Close.
I love it. I saw at Air One. So Brock and I, when we drop off Summer at school, sometimes we'll go to Air One after and like grab a coffee or a bite to eat, when we just like really want to waste money.
Yeah.
There's like $30 smoothies there. Fantastic.
They're
I think
delicious.
Hailey Bieber has one
Yeah.
there. But there's also a $19
I saw this.
single strawberry.
Oh, yes.
Single strawberry.
Mm-hmm.
I spent $10.33 yesterday on a bag of like mandarins, tangerines, cuties, whatever, but they're like the on the vine ones. And Brock was like, oh, we should get those. They're better. And it was like, it said $3.99 per pound. Apparently, I don't know how we do the math. And I was like, but the cuties are usually only like $4.99. The price of eggs right now. And now you're going to tell me a single strawberry is $19?
Well, only at Air One.
But like,
I
feel
it's a
like people would
marketing
wait in line
tactic.
for that.
Yes, they would.
I
Because
think-
it's a very fancy strawberry, right? From like Japan or
Yes,
something.
Japan has been doing these strawberries for a while now. I think it started like over the pandemic.
Yeah.
There was a brand that started it that had a little tray of like 5 strawberries and it was like very beautifully packaged. The strawberries are like stunning and gorgeous. We actually did a promotion when I worked for Aveline. We did a promotion where we gave like a bottle of rosé paired with these strawberries to eat. And so I got to try one of those back then. And I'm not going to lie, it was the best strawberry I'd ever had in my life.
Yeah.
But $19 for one, like obviously that's outrageous.
Yeah.
I have 2 theories on this. One, it's a marketing tactic for Air One.
Totally.
That it's just, again, promoting their brand that they're this high-end luxury grocery store. And then also, I think the influencers who are posting this, it's almost like rage baiting people. And they're like, all right, here's this single $19 strawberry. So
Yeah.
I may or may not have told Jason to stop and get some on the way home from the gym.
Stop it.
Literally an hour
The
ago.
$19 strawberries.
Well, he goes, I go, we can do a video of us eating it. People will get mad and we'll get some more followers. It'll be great. And he's like,
true.
well, we can't just share one. It's not like we can get one and chop it in half and eat it. So we're going to have to get 2. So he's like, you want to spend $39 on 2 strawberries? And I'm like, I mean, I don't not want to.
Don't let him tell Brock because then Brock is going to go
want one.
and do that. I saw that Bethany also did a video of a $128 melon from Japan.
What did she say about it? Because she's like she'll tell you if she doesn't like it. Did she say
What
she liked it or not?
So she said that it was a really good melon, but she wouldn't spend $128 on it.
See, that's kind of how I felt when I tried the strawberry. I was like, this is really good. But like my cap for strawberries, like there's not a strawberry that's going to be good enough that's worth that to me.
Look, if the $19 strawberries could take away my smile lines and just lift my face and add collagen, I would pay for them. But right now, okay, speaking of, so Summer caught me looking in the mirror the other day. And lately, and I swear to God, I get this from my mother, but also I'm like, Mom, you want to change something? Do something. I gave her a bunch of the Catrini, the eye patches. And I'm like, you should try these. And she's like, but you said they have little like needles or micro darts. And I'm like, they do. You stick them in your face and it feels good. I've been putting them on every night. I put them on my smile lines and I put them under my eyes. But Summer caught me in the mirror the other day and I was just kind of like going like this. And she's like, Mommy, what are you doing? I was like, nothing. She goes, what are you looking at? And I was like, I just had something in my eye. But I'm like, I don't want to have her grow up with a mom who's looking in the mirror like, you know, right now, like, yes, we can tell I'm a small person. There's no muscle tone to me whatsoever. I got back on the tonal today. The garage is fully cleaned out. We just got a new Nordic track rower. Like I'm back to working out because I want to feel good when I'm naked, when I'm in a bathing suit. I don't feel good right now. I don't want to be in a bathing suit. And I also don't want to project that onto my daughter to where she feels like, oh, it's not okay to like be naked or love our bodies. And so I'm like, here I am just like struggling with this in my head because I don't want to say anything. But when she caught me looking in the mirror, I was like, shit.
You know what's sad though is like, you know, all of my friends have kids. And so like a lot of them have boys, a few of them have girls, and all of them are like, they never really project that on their kids, but all of their kids have come home and either been like, oh, that girl at school, she's so skinny. Even the boy, like the other day I just found out, he was like, we're going to Mexico for spring break together. And he wants to wear like, I think it's called a rash guard. He wants to wear a shirt because he feels fat. And I'm just like, and nobody at home is teaching this. So it's happening at school. So it's like, no matter how much self-esteem you give them, the kids,
they just get fucked up somewhere.
I think it's just a part of growing up too. You notice people have different qualities. You look at yourself. I think that is just kind of a normal part of growing up.
I know.
I do think it's good to be naked around your kids to like obviously a certain age, but like, you know, my body will never be the same as it was before. Like I'll have stretch marks on my stomach and like loose skin, and my boobs are a little saggier and deflated now and like all of that. But I feel like it's good for me, at least in the early years, for like my son to see my body so that he has a realistic image of like what
bush and all.
Yeah, bush and all. What body hair, stretch marks, all the natural, beautiful things of our bodies. Like I want him to like be like, oh yeah, it's like you see so many images of perfection and Photoshop and all of that. Like I want him at home to see like what is natural and normal, so that, I don't know, he doesn't like have a girlfriend one day and think that she's supposed to be, you know,
lasered.
Yeah. Or like
what's even more crazy though, like, okay, like let's beyond just like the physical aesthetics. I was listening to the Daily, the podcast today, about how people are getting AI generated boyfriends or girlfriends, and kids now are like having their first relationships with AI bots. And so like, it's even crazier because like now you don't have like the friction in a relationship that you have growing up when you're like with a boyfriend, because you have this sycophant AI that's just going to tell you all these positive things. So beyond the physical, you kind of got to worry like, keep them, don't like let their first boyfriend or girlfriend be a AI bot.
No.
Yeah.
Another thing we have to worry about.
There's so many things. And I mean, now that Summer is in school and, you know, we're doing play dates and there's other kids who have siblings, it's just like watching her grow up, right? So we had 2 other couples over for pasta night a couple weeks ago. And one of the little girls in Summer's class has an older brother. He's like 7. And my mom was upstairs, like doing some laundry. We're downstairs cooking or whatever, and the kids were upstairs. And my mom goes, I've never seen this side of Summer before. Like Summer is very orderly. She plays with the toy. She puts it back. Then she gets the next one out. And the little boy, and I mean, he has a sister the same age, and he is a doll. Like if they ever did date one day, like absolutely love the parents. Like he's such a sweetheart. And he has the cutest name ever. And so they're playing upstairs, and my mom said like he like threw a ball from the ball pit, and then she starts throwing balls and was like trying to do what he was doing.
Oh my gosh.
And I was like, oh my gosh. I'm like, I literally like that boy crazy Scheana, like I would adjust things that I normally maybe wouldn't throw something, but like if the boy was throwing it, then I would throw it and like try to get on his level. And I'm like, is this Summer's first crush? And I noticed it when we were in Ojai. She was like, I want to sit by him at dinner.
Oh my God.
And so then when it comes time for pasta, we're all sitting at the table. And I don't know if the mom was maybe in the bathroom, and the dad says to me, he's like, Scheana, look. And the son had like gotten up to grab a piece of garlic bread, and Summer grabs his chair and scoots it closer to her. I was just like,
that is adorable.
Oh my God.
But it was like, she's like, it was
that's
so
cute.
That.
I know.
And sneaky. I love it.
I know. It's just like, I'm like, oh my God, I'm watching her grow up.
Yeah.
It's so wild to me. I just,
making her move. I love it over pasta.
I know. It's crazy. Okay. I wanted to talk about the Mandela Effect. So this is something that I feel like we all have, experienced with so many things, especially growing up, advertisements in the 90s and whatnot. But while I was at the grocery store not buying the $19 freaking strawberries, I noticed this with avocados. So Haas avocados, that's how you say it, right?
Yep.
How do you spell it?
I hate avocados, so I don't know.
I saw this, I feel like recently too. I thought it was Haas.
Right.
Because it's pronounced Haas. Like long A, short S.
Yeah.
It's not Haas.
Right. But apparently it's not two A's. It's two S's.
Okay, I don't even eat avocados, and I definitely thought it was Haas.
Right?
Yeah. And it's spelled Hass, which is not.
No.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense to me. I don't believe it.
But I'm like, okay, this is just another example of the Mandela
It doesn't make sense
effect.
too, because there is a place in New York that my friend would always stop at. It was a stand, and they called themselves AA Avocados, and I thought it was because
Haas.
yes,
Yeah. No. So there's a list of things that I made that I want to know if you knew the right or correct way, because there were so many that I'm like, okay, what else is like Mandela effect? Star Wars, what does Darth Vader say? Blank.
I am your
father.
Luke, I am your father.
No. He says, no, I am your father.
No, he says Luke.
He does not.
What?
He does not. Shall we Google it?
I mean,
he
says,
I believe you did your research.
No, I am your father.
There was another one recently that I found out. Why were Jared and I talking about this? Of Britney Spears, her "Oops, I Did It Again" video.
Yep, I have that on here.
Yeah.
She does not have a headset on in the
the
music
way
video.
I went as her in that video for Halloween and wore a headset.
Janet, I have a photo of me.
Yeah.
It didn't make it in the book, but that was one of the photos I found from high school.
I'm like,
the red leather
yes.
with the headset.
Well, at least both of you were in the same timeline.
Right. But I'm like, like that. Yeah. That was one that I was like, I don't believe it.
Do you remember those books, the Bernstein Bears?
Yes. This is like the big one.
Yeah, no, it's Bernstein with an A.
No, it's not.
Not Bernstein. Bernstein.
This really makes me want to put my tinfoil hat on and believe the conspiracy that we're in a simulation.
100%.
And that the simulation people are like fucking with us.
Right?
And they're like, all right, let's just erase all of this and replace it with this and see if they notice.
Yeah.
What about the peanut butter?
Which one?
Jif or Jiffy?
Jiffy.
Nope. It's just Jif. It
What?
is just Jif. J-I-F.
Are you that one? Okay. All right. I mean, I believe
trusting
you. But
you.
We've done our research.
why do we call it Jiffy then?
Yeah.
No,
Do they have ads where they say
No.
in a
I think
Jiffy
just-
or something?
No, I think it's the Mandela effect.
That's so weird. Okay.
The Monopoly man doesn't have a monocle.
That's wild.
No,
too.
he does.
Right?
No, he doesn't.
Does.
No, he doesn't.
He has a top hat.
He has a top hat.
I played Monopoly
he played that
like
McDonald's
4,000.
Monopoly game, and I just felt like
This is making me mad.
Wait, Sinbad wasn't in a genie movie called Shazam?
This is a big one.
Me
I've
and
heard
my brother
about.
believe yes, he was in Shazam, and he's convinced that he's going to find this VHS tape one day.
Yeah.
but
Wait, who was in Shazam?
there was no Shazam.
What?
There's a Michael.
on.
I think Space
there
Jam
was-
is
No,
like.
there's Space Jam.
Shaquille O'Neal was in Kazam.
Is that right? Okay.
Kazam. Okay, so that's what I'm thinking of. But wait, why did I think Sinbad was in
Because
one?
I feel like there was a Shazam.
Yeah. And the simulation erased it
What
for
the
us.
fuck? That's wild. Okay.
Mhm.
Pikachu's tail does not have a black tip.
That's why I thought it looked like a lightning bolt with a black design.
Mhm.
I don't know Pikachu, so that one
Yeah.
could fool me.
Snow White, mirror, mirror on the wall was never said. It was magic mirror on the wall.
So why are we saying mirror mirror? I don't understand why we would be saying it if it wasn't
I don't know.
somewhere.
I don't know.
I need someone to explain, like
Right?
where it got lost in translation, and then everyone I need to know.
Mm-hmm. It's Smokey Bear, not Smokey the Bear.
That's just no. No, he's Smokey the Bear.
Fruit of the Loom never had a cornucopia.
I saw a thing recently that somebody found an old vintage Fruit of the Loom shirt, and it did have
Ooh.
it on one of the old labels.
Maybe
And
it
they
was
think
like
it
the
was
one
a-
misprint.
Something.
The wiper missed it. They somehow, they had a heart
They-
attack while they were
yes.
cleaning up and
They're
they
like-
missed one.
Yeah, I feel like maybe Fruit of the Loom just took it all away. They changed their mind and they're like, oh no, we've scrubbed the internet. We've erased it all. But then someone's like, I have this
Yeah.
from 1987
Yeah.
still.
Can't
Because
fool
that's
me.
the thing. I do think corporations have that power. What we're
Mhm.
learning now, especially we can see this where it's they're like, we don't want you to see this anymore. So we'll
Mhm.
erase it. And as generations go by, it won't exist. And then it fades from our memory. And then people just thought we get old and then we just have dementia,
Right.
And they're like, you don't know what you're talking about, old
Right.
lady.
Yeah.
That's
I'm still
wild.
caught up on the Sinbad one though. Anyway, also Wizard of Oz. People remembered the Wicked Witch shouting, "Fly, my pretties, fly!"
Yeah.
Cackling and all of that. No, she just shouts, "Fly, fly, fly." No, my pretties.
Does
And
she
I
say my
really-
pretties somewhere else? I need someone to make a coffee table book of all of these.
Like she has
And
to say my
explain-
pretties.
And trace
like-
back to how we got to here.
Yes.
Did somebody
Right.
like around the
Where
same
did it change?
time,
Yeah.
somebody quoted it wrong, and that
Mhm.
I need an explanation of each one
Yeah.
of these, please.
I mean, she definitely calls Dorothy my pretty. For sure. That's in
Yeah.
the movie, right? I'll get you my pretty.
Yeah. And your little dog too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we think. I don't know.
Maybe.
We could just be making that
I'm
up right
doubting
now.
everything now.
I actually
yeah.
recently rewatched The Wizard of Oz only because
I need to.
I was watching Wicked and I got
Yeah.
so obsessed with it, and then I started watching all the old.
Yeah.
And so I was like, okay, Wicked is so good because someone who hates musicals, is now
Yeah.
obsessed. Went to Pantages, actually saw the play because I
That's
couldn't
amazing.
wait
You
for
did?
because I couldn't wait for part 2.
I
I was like, I need to
know.
know what happens.
Yes.
So I was expecting award season. I was like, they're going to be
Cleaning up.
sweeping.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm shocked that, look, I love that Demi Moore is getting her accolades. I really do.
Mhm.
But I am shocked that Cynthia is not cleaning up at
Right.
these awards.
Yeah.
Cynthia especially. I mean, I feel like her voice and level of talent, and I mean, she's already won a Tony?
Yes. She's EGOT almost. If she wins this, I think, Oscar,
Yeah.
then she'll be an EGOT.
That's what I was
Yeah.
like, I thought she was at least close.
Yeah.
But I mean, Oscars are still coming up. Do you think there's a chance that
See,
they'll
this is
clean
the
up
thing,
there?
because I like to believe the award shows aren't totally tainted, but in
Mhm.
certain ways, I do feel like they're like, well, maybe a Wicked Part 2's coming, so they still have a chance to
Mm.
win. So maybe we give it to Demi deservingly. I really
Oh.
do believe that Demi deserves it, but they're kind of weighing there's more opportunities. Cynthia will
Mhm.
become an EGOT
Right.
eventually, whereas this is Demi's possibly her last chance. You
Yeah.
know, I don't
could
know.
see that. What about Ariana for supporting?
I mean, she was great. And I mean, I also think that she has a future too. So I think
Yeah.
the possibility of her winning in the future, they're kind of she's young. She has
Mhm.
plenty of years ahead of her.
Totally. And maybe they are just gonna have it be such a disappointment that they don't get, anything, or they'll get something at the Oscars for
I
sure.
think they have
Costumes,
to.
or
Yeah,
they have to get
for
something,
sure. Yeah.
But maybe they are saving it for part 2, because then it's they deserve it. They didn't get anything last year. And
Yeah.
then it's boom, they get it next year.
Mhm.
I can't wait to see part 2. I saw it at the Pantages 15, 17 years ago, whenever it was Idina Menzel and
Okay.
Kristen Chenoweth. I saw it forever ago. Forgot completely what happened. I've now seen the movie 20 plus times. Summer knows every word to every song. And so when we went to Pantages, I was like, oh my God, I forgot. Now I'm so much more even excited for the movie because
Yeah.
I totally forgot how it ended.
I forgot that there was going to be a part 2. Like, I haven't seen part 1, to be honest. But I was thinking the other day, seems like about the right time where Ariana's probably getting sick of the boyfriend. And now she has to do a whole nother year of press.
Oh, press. Yeah. I'm like,
and
the movie's
stuff.
already done.
No, but they still have to do a whole nother year of stuff
You
together.
think she's getting sick of him?
What's the longest relationship she's been in? She seems
Pete
to
Davidson?
dive in hot. I mean, I feels like every like 2-3 years, and that's like long. She's been with him at least a year now.
This one has stakes, though. I mean, he left his wife and his newborn baby.
Who she put her whole important career on pause to support him.
So wild.
Yeah. You read her interview?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
How much? Okay. Do you think that she got paid? Like, okay, I was thinking about this. Like, Brianna Chicken Fry got offered supposedly $12 million to sign an NDA when she ended things with Zach Bryan. Is that his name? If that is
her name is Chicken Fry.
I don't know her real
that's like
name,
her
but that's her
podcast
name.
Gotcha. Okay.
She's with Barstool. And
Okay.
Dave
She's supposedly
Portnoy.
dating West from Summer House now.
Oh,
or
yeah.
either they're hanging out.
Okay.
Has a podcast with Dave Portnoy from
Okay.
Barstool.
Gotcha.
But she came out and said that she was offered $12 million basically to stay silent about her relationship, and she turned it down and has talked about it, endlessly. I wonder though if there's $12 million on the table for somebody like her and Zach Bryan, who's obviously not even close to the star level as Ariana Grande. You think Ariana Grande had to pay off the wife to like
take her husband?
Well, no, to not come out and say all these horrible things. She wrote one like article where she was very polite. I felt, and like, I don't know. It was very light on everything.
Yeah.
And very focused on like her instead of them.
That's a good question, but I think she probably more thought about like, I just want to make sure I have a fair settlement, some good alimony, and my child support's taken care of. And so I don't want to trash, and I think she also really doesn't want to trash the father of her child. Like, I think she's,
Yeah.
I feel like there's a check there. I feel like there's some money there.
I mean, look,
How
I
can
wouldn't
we
put it
find
past
out?
anyone.
I don't know. We'll probably never find out if it's a big enough number.
Right. Yeah.
But I
that's
just feel
true.
like hearing the Brianna thing and being like, wait, you got offered $12 million for a like year or two long relationship that wasn't a marriage. No, like if that kind of money is out there for these kind of situations, it's like, that's
especially
wild.
when Ariana knows this big movie's coming. She's basically like completely rebranding her image. And so, and she already had this sort of like boyfriend stealer. And so it would make sense of being like, look, I don't need this on my press tour to come out.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
food for thought, but she's stuck with them for at least another year.
That's true. All right. We're going to take one more break and then BRB. Okay, so when I had my baby, I expected to feel overwhelmed, exhausted, and maybe even a little anxious or a lot, but I never expected the terrifying thoughts that took over my mind. Okay, I was struggling with postpartum OCD, but like so many others with OCD, I had no idea. I just felt alone, confused, and scared, and that's why I want to get one thing straight. OCD is not just about liking things clean or in order. It is a serious condition that can make you question everything about yourself, drain your energy, and take over your life with fear. That's what OCD did to me, and that's what it's doing right now to thousands of people. But many of them have no idea what they're struggling with because OCD is so misunderstood. It causes people to get stuck in a cycle of stressful, unwanted thoughts called intrusive thoughts and repetitive behaviors that people do in an attempt to make the fear, doubt, or anxiety from these intrusive thoughts go away, even though the relief never lasts. What makes OCD so painful is that intrusive thoughts often focus on the things we care about the most. And for me, it was my baby. For others, it's their family's relationship or beliefs. And I've been there, so I know how terrible it feels. And I wish I had known sooner that there's actually treatment that works. And that's why I want to tell you about NOCD. With NOCD, you can do live virtual therapy with a licensed therapist that specializes in treating OCD. They really understand, so you can feel safe opening up to them about what you're going through, and they know how to help you take your life back. NOCD therapists are trained in a type of therapy called ERP, or exposure and response prevention. It's the most effective treatment for OCD, and NOCD makes it affordable with insurance coverage for over 155 million Americans. They also provide support between therapy sessions, so you're never alone. I know firsthand what it's like to suffer with OCD and silence and how hard it can be. But I also know that with the right care, you get to a place where those distressing thoughts don't have power over you anymore and you're able to do what you want to do. So if you relate to any of this, or if you want to help a loved one who's struggling, you can learn more by booking a free 15-minute session call with NOCD. Just go to NOCD.com to schedule your free call and get connected with someone who can help. Okay, so one thing I alluded to earlier, just talking about me as a mom now watching television differently. I used to love a good murder mystery, true crime show, anything like that. Like, I swear, when I was with Shay, if anyone looked at my DVR, they would have thought I was plotting to murder my husband.
Well, were you?
But like, no.
Okay.
But like, we used to watch all these shows together. But I mean, it was like Snapped and like all of these shows. And then I remember anytime Kristen Doute and I would go on a filming trip, it was like no one ever wanted to share a room with Kristen. And I never minded sharing a room with her. I'm like, I don't
Why
care.
didn't they want to share?
I mean, at the time, she would smoke cigarettes on the balcony. And so it was like back in like those days where I'm like, I'll share a room with you. You're not smoking cigarettes on the balcony. You know, it was just like, oh, I'll just pay the fee. I'm like, no. But she likes to stay up late. She likes to go to bed with the TV on. I mean, other than the cigarettes, I was like, I like to stay up late. I like to go to bed with the TV on. And we realized that we both like to go to bed and watch Forensic Files. Now I've heard things about people who like fall asleep to those that I'm like, that used to be me. Anyway, but recently on our new rowing machine that we just got, it has Netflix on it.
Oh, that's nice.
And so Brock and I are working out. We have the Nordic track, like the treadmill that has like the massive screen. Then we have our 98-inch TV. And then now there's screens everywhere in our garage that I'm like, okay, I'm just going to focus on this one.
Yeah.
So he's like, oh, just watch something on Netflix. And the OJ documentary was the first thing. So I start watching that. So I wrote like the whole first episode. Then I'm like, oh, I'm in this. I haven't finished that one yet because then we paused and Brock was like, look, there's the Gabby Petito one. He's like, I started watching it. Then I realized I should save it for you. And I'm like, yeah, of course. Like, I remember that story. So we start watching it. We finished it in one night. But just from the beginning of watching it, I was like, oh my God. And now it's like, I have a daughter. And then just like thinking again about her future. And then what if she wants to go on road trip with this person? And then I was just watching it and I'm like, I don't know why I'm doing this to myself. Like now I'm in it. Now I'm on episode 2. I know how it ends. But it was just, it's so different now. I'm like, I don't like watching murder things anymore.
No.
There's nothing like calming about it, you know? It's like, I'm like, how the fuck did I used to fall asleep? Like the Forensic Files guy's voice, you know, R.I.P. But it was something about his voice. I don't know.
It was comforting to you.
But like, okay, we need to talk about Brian's parents, okay?
Yeah.
Because like, how have there not been any charges brought up against them yet? It is so strange.
I have so many questions about them. I've especially seeing the body cam footage of the cops.
Wait, what happened on the body cam footage?
They go to the door and they're like, hey, you know, can we talk to you? They had been in contact with Gabby's parents.
I thought you were meaning the body cam of her.
No, of hers also concerning and horrible.
Yes.
But when the police, so Gabby's parents, after, you know, she hadn't been answering for so long, contacted the police. They went to Brian's parents' house in Florida and they knocked on the door and his parents are like half in the door and they're like, we're not going to talk to you. And they're like, okay, well, can Brian talk to us? Do you know where he is? Do you know where Gabby is? Like, we're looking. They said, Brian's here. He's not going to talk to you. And that's all we have to say. And
you
they
can talk to
lawyered
our
up
lawyer
immediately. So you see this footage of them and it's so cold for somebody that's like, you knew this girl. You know, she was probably very much a part of your family. And you can stand there and I don't know. It came off really, really icky.
Well, and there was a 55-minute phone call that Brian made either the day of the murder or the day after to his mom. And then several calls like back and forth after. And then calls from his parents to an attorney.
And they gave I think, $25,000 retainer.
Yes.
Which if you see their house in Florida, it's not like they're, you know, they seem very middle class. Like who has $25,000 laying around? I'm sure they had to, you know, do something to... or like move stuff around to get that. So that's like, in my eyes, if you're shelling out that kind of cash, you think your son
guilty
did something and you want to save him from going to prison.
Because it's like, I think most people don't raise murderers, right? You know, but I think that people who end up maybe with a child who becomes a murderer, there's maybe reason. And that's why those parents are just as sketchy. Because I think parents that are willing to cover for their murderous kids, that's probably why your kid is a murderer, because like there's no value system there. Right. It's like, what, I understand you love your kid and you want to protect them, but if all signs point to this is sketchy, like we're going to go to the police, like we're going to talk to some, like this doesn't even.
I mean, I love my son. If anything, if he ever did anything to harm somebody else, I'd be like, I will be there to visit you and you can call me every day. Yeah. But if you harm another human being, you gotta pay your time. Or it would be the most horrible position ever to be in. But I can't imagine covering especially knowing the victim.
Yeah.
Well, also the mom wrote Brian a letter. And so when he then went missing, the cops got a search warrant and searched the parents' house and found this letter that said burn after reading. She hand wrote him a letter and said that she would help him bury a body if he ever needed that. Like,
who thinks that way and says that? Yeah, it's so like, it's so sick.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and she said also in the letter that if he goes to jail, she will bake a cake with a file in it.
This is also giving like Electra complex.
She would show
up, like why do you have this relationship with your son in that way?
If he needs to dispose of a body, she will show up with trash bags and a shovel.
No.
You put that in writing and say burn after reading, but then you leave it
so they had this letter and they were never indicted on anything?
No.
Like that's
how?
I also still don't understand how Brian slipped out, because at that time, reporters, it was chaos in front of their house at all times. There were reporters day and night sleeping in their cars, it's in their front yard the whole time. I don't understand. People said they actually were joking. I think the mom and sister were joking like, oh yeah, when Brian slipped out, they thought it was me, like the mom.
Right.
Oh, like, and they were like joking
Mistaken.
about how, oh, I must look young if they could mistake us or something like that. And I'm like, what? Like, I don't know. And now there's all these theories online that he was only identified by a piece of his jaw, and the person who identified him was his uncle, who is a dentist. So a lot of conspiracy theories are out online right now saying that they think Brian's still alive somewhere.
Why was the uncle even allowed to be the identifier?
I guess he had his original dental records to compare them to. So they should have handed over those records, handed over the jaw, and had a third party, you would think. But according to online, the uncle is the one who matched the dental records. And people are like, is he actually?
Oh my God, that's even creepier.
Yeah. And then here's what else is weird is the authorities were looking for him for about a month within the park. And then once the park was reopened to the public, I guess it was closed because of flooding or whatever, the parents, then they like found his remains within an hour. There's dogs, there's drones, there's hundreds of searchers. But then the parents are like, oh no, we just know the route he hikes. So maybe he went this way. Oh, boop, there he is. Like,
sus.
What?
Yeah, I do remember seeing a video about that of being
completely
like,
decomposed already. Like by the time they found him.
Yeah. No.
Sus.
It's very strange. And it's all just so sad. I think the footage that they have, it's so sad because they have so much footage of their van life because they were vlogging the whole time. So you really get an intimate look at their life. But then also they're so young. Like when I see Gabby, I can't like be like, oh, that, you know, I'm the same age. Like I look at her as a child.
Yeah.
And she just looks so innocent and young that it's just like the saddest thing that this happened to this, you know, amazing girl who seemed like she just wanted to like travel the world and, you know,
vlog.
Yeah. And it's
which is
so
why
sad.
when you talk about how like, you know, you look at it through a different lens, it's like I look at these things and I go back and I'm like, I sometimes wonder how I'm alive because like, and that's why I don't know if I want kids because I'm like, the things that I was doing that my parents had no clue, and the fact that I was not like murdered or like left, is wild.
I've definitely put myself in Hollywood in my early 20s in some very compromising positions, places, cars.
Yeah.
Like I remember one time I got in this guy's car and he started going like 120 on the freeway and I was like, I'm gonna die, I'm gonna die, I'm gonna die. This is it. Like, what are you doing? Like, I mean, so many things.
The reason I can't get into a 2-door car, like if I'm in the front, but I will never sit in a 2-door car in the back seat is because I was in the back seat of a Mustang and this guy, me and my girlfriend, and we were in the back and he was going 140 miles per hour. I don't even know if we were wearing our seatbelts.
Yeah.
And I was thinking like, if we hit a tree, like if I survive, that would be crazy, but I would be crushed in the back of this. And so I will wake up in a cold sweat thinking of like the clock.
Oh, wow.
I can't do it. Like,
no.
The dangerous things.
And Brock wants more kids. And I'm like, it terrifies me.
Yeah.
Like, I'm already worried enough about this one.
Yes, I know. But then I'm like, would a second one maybe alleviate some of those fears?
No, I've heard it does.
Or would it make it worse? I wouldn't be carrying this one. So would my hormonal response be different? I don't know, but we're not going to find out anytime soon.
My mom says she hasn't slept since I was born. So I just feel like that's how we're going to be.
I mean, I have so much more empathy for my mom too, because when I think about it, I'm just like, my mom was 19 when she had me.
Wow.
She was a baby.
Yeah.
Like, there's so many things where, her and Brock butt heads and Brock will want to like give her shit about something. But I'm like, honey, think about like my mom and I in 1985. Okay. And like with the tools she was given, she did an incredible job. She did amazing. I had the best childhood. But it's just like when I think back to things, or on the contrary, when my mom wants to bitch at me for something, like yesterday, we're taking Summer to her jujitsu class, and for her to earn her first patch, badge, whatever, they told the kids to write a paper. Obviously, if the kids aren't writing yet, to draw a picture. Their word of the month that they're doing is focus. And so she draws a beautiful picture, and we needed to take it to present to the class. So we have Brock's family in town. I'm grabbing her bag. Her leg hurts. She doesn't want to walk to the car. I'm carrying her. I'm like, wait, grab the water bottle. We left the paper just right there on the counter. It was on top of her bag, sure, but I've already grabbed her bag. And so we pull up and she's like, Mommy, where's my picture? And I'm like, shit. And this is only a 30-minute class. By the time we get home and back, I'm not going to make it in time. And so I'm like, Brock, he's like, it's no one's fault. I'm like, well, it is. It's both of our faults. It's all of our fault. Like it was right there. And so I text my mom and I say, can you send me the picture that you took of it? Like, I want to show her coach that she actually did this. And instead of just sending the picture immediately, mother, she was like, seriously, Scheana, you forgot it? And I go, I don't need the commentary. I don't need the commentary. I just need the photo.
Yeah.
Like those little things. And I'm like, you mean to tell me that in the 80s, in the 90s, you just remembered every single thing for me forever? Like,
no, but her mom probably said the same thing to her, and we'll say those same things to our kids.
Send me the
one
fucking
day.
photo, okay? So then I felt bad because we're showing him the photo, and he's like, cool. So next week, whatever day you come back to class, you actually need to physically bring it, because they do, like, they stand up and they present it. And so then I felt so bad because this other kid brought his, and she's just sitting there like, that should have been me. But she got her first stripe on her belt for technique. And so she was still recognized and got that. And then I was like, all right, honey, I've already put everything, because there's 2 other drawings she can make for badges. I've already put everything in her bag. There's no way we're forgetting this next week. But I was like,
does she wear like the little robe?
Yeah.
I need to see pictures
it's adorable.
of this.
I'll show you a video.
Well, at least she got the stripe, because I feel like those core memories, like I think about like those things, but it's like a positive thing happens. So I think it'll offset it.
Yeah, I was like, thank God. And so I start like taking a video, and they're like, there's only 2 girls in the class. And he goes, this girl, this one, it's her first, whatever. And so I'm like, I don't know if the other girl has stripes on her belt or whatever. So I'm taking a video, and I'm like, if they don't say her name right now, I'm going to feel so stupid. Thankfully, they did. So that was cute.
Congrats, Summer, on her jujitsu. Is that the one?
Jujitsu. Yes. Amazing. I told Nia that she should put Asher in it, because I guess the place that she does jujitsu at, they don't start until 5.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm surprised she doesn't have Asher in it, because she
didn't know that they could start this young.
She's like a black belt.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, don't
whatever.
fuck with her.
Yeah. She could definitely kick some ass.
Yeah. So are we all caught up on our Bravo shows? Summer House?
Yes.
I haven't started Summer House yet, but I've seen so many clips online. I feel like every conversation is going viral.
And also the real, like the current situation that's happening is just as interesting. So it's like, even if you're not watching the show, you're kind of like in it.
I know. Sierra laying into Wes, like he doesn't want to have a conversation with the group, but he can go and do a New York Times article. And I feel bad. You can tell like she still likes him.
I think it's like a combination of one, Sierra is a million times hotter than Wes.
Way hotter.
And I think that being a very hot person, I don't think you're used to rejection, especially from someone who is not as hot as you.
Yeah.
So I think it's bothering her that he's just like not acknowledging it. And it seems like the only thing he's worried about is like, just don't like make me have a bad summer. I just want to make sure this is a fun summer. Can you not ruin my summer by like
okay, bro. Relax, bro.
I know. Carl and Lindsay.
They're like, someone said online, you would think that Carl and Lindsay were the one that had a situationship and that Sierra and Wes were the ones that broke up a wedding the way they're acting, because
that's
Lindsay's
funny.
just like, oh God, just get away from me.
I commend her.
funny.
She's doing a much better job filming while pregnant than I did. I'm like, why are you being so chill right now?
Well, because all of the women are supporting her in the house and she's friends with all of them.
That's true.
That's the thing, is on reality TV, I feel like if you're put on a show the first season with a group of, as a woman, with a group of women who you're friends with, you're going to see the best sides of you brought out. If you're put on a show with a group of women who, like me, didn't want me on their show, didn't like me, it's not going to bring out the best sides of you. And for you,
I agree.
I feel like you didn't really have a fair shot at your first season because, you're sober, you're pregnant, and you're on a show with people who aren't all your friends. Maybe they're all Jason's friends or some are your friends. But you're not going to have the best of you brought out when you're filming with women who you don't really like.
Totally agree. Totally agree.
I'm going to point that out.
I'm glad she has the support on Summer House. I feel like that is really important. But also she just, every pregnancy also is different, but maybe mine was a little, I don't know, more emotional, or I was on edge more. But also I think for me,
it
was
her like 9th season. It's your first.
She knew what she was,
totally
what she could expect going into it and everything.
Yeah.
But she's doing a great job and she looks great.
Like, thanks for the dinner, Carl.
Yeah, exactly. Those steaks look really good, though.
So good. I know you watch Southern Charm. I don't. And we're not going to have time to catch up on that one today because we do need time to discuss our Jack's Hole of the Week.
Oh.
So I don't know if you caught up today, but I know Kiki's caught up on the Boy Meets World drama.
I have been digging into it, but I'm not fully caught up. So fill me in.
So Danielle Fischel, Ryder Strong, and Will Friedle, whatever. They all have a podcast together. And Maitland Ward, who was the tall redhead on the show, played Rachel. She appeared as a guest this week. And just her performance on this episode, I was like, you are the Jack's Hole of the Week. So at one point, Danielle asked Maitland if she hates them. And then Maitland said that she felt like Danielle and them hated her because she was dismissive of her when they were on set of Girl Meets World.
Oh.
And said that Danielle had unfriended her on Facebook at some point. Danielle seemed confused by the on-set behavior and didn't recall how or when they weren't following each other on Facebook anymore. But I guess she noticed that Maitland had sent her a message. She said it got put in the graveyard or whatever.
Yeah, basically Maitland is accusing Danielle of them being friends on Facebook. When Danielle was getting married, she sent this really nice message to her. Danielle says, I never saw it. Years later, Maitland talked to, I think, Will about it, and Will mentioned, and she was like, what are you talking about? She went into her Facebook graveyard and found this message, and that was when she realized, oh, we're not friends. That's why I went to the graveyard.
Yes.
Maitland believes that she saw the message, unfollowed her, and ignored her.
Right. But Danielle had asked Will for Maitland's number because she wanted to apologize. And then Maitland said back to Will, no, let's just save it for the podcast. It'll be great for ratings.
Wow. And so this all unraveled on a podcast?
Yes.
And
they're arguing on the podcast.
There is video, but I can't find the video. But I keep seeing clips of the video. But I'm like, I need to see this.
Okay.
Yeah.
No.
I'm invested now.
Yeah. And then later, Maitland accused them of having a go at her for ratings. And when Danielle replied, she was like, no, Maitland, I'm not the one who wanted to have a go for ratings. Like, you're the one who said this.
Wow.
And she kept quoting her. She's like, if I got it correctly, I think you said you wanted to rock the stats. She kept saying you wanted to rock the stats.
No.
Yeah. It's like, where is Andy with his cards and a camera?
Right?
Top tier here. Seriously.
You could tell Danielle was not having it. She was just like, oh, really? Oh, really? Every time Maitland said something.
And also, Danielle had pointed out how Maitland appears to call TMZ and do the setup shots with her to respond to every episode of their podcast.
Oh.
So I think Maitland got caught. I think she is my Jack's Hole of the Week. And I'm Team Danielle.
I love it. I love that Jax didn't do anything this week to end up as the Jack's Hole.
No, actually, I think I discussed this on the podcast last week. He reached out to me. Or did I send you a screenshot?
Maybe.
He sent me a really sweet text.
What?
Last week.
Saying what?
Congratulating me on the book, actually.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, you did send me
and
this.
then taking some accountability of his actions and how he's treated people.
Was there a typo in this? I feel like this is what I remember.
I don't know if there was. Why do you think someone else wrote it?
No. I
Oh.
just mean normally with Jax, like there's a typo.
Maybe.
I just want to know the over and under until you're blocked again.
Right? I know.
Are you still blocked on Instagram?
I haven't looked.
Okay.
We'll see.
I don't know if he knows how to unblock people.
I mean, he unblocked my phone number.
I mean, that
So.
I feel like
Yeah.
I've never been blocked by Jax.
Wow.
I know.
It's a rite of
I know.
passage.
I know.
I will say I had a really good time at
Wait till
Jax's
after
Studio
the
Studio
season.
for Super Bowls.
Oh,
Sunday.
fun.
It was really fun. The food
Yeah.
is really good.
I love the wings
I
there.
mean, I
Mhm.
like that place.
Yeah.
I'm excited for Brit.
I know. I was like hoping I could do Super Bowl. It's not
Yeah.
when it's open.
Yeah.
Next party.
I think
yeah.
it'll
We
be
could
the-
just walk there from here.
Oh, really?
yeah.
Oh, even better.
To Brit's?
Yeah.
Oh,
Right
yeah.
there on
It's
the
right
corner.
there.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I
And
know.
in the spring, she said it's going to be open.
Yeah. I'm excited.
It's going to be fun.
Well, thank you, ladies, so much for joining me today, getting into some shenanigans. Tune in to Reality Checked on Sirius XM weekdays at 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific for more of Kiki's hot takes because she's always got them. And make sure you're following at The Talk of Shame because she's always posting all
Your
the best
stories
things.
are my favorite.
So good. That's where I get my information. Honestly.
You were always
I
on
love it.
top of it. You're the
Yes.
first person. I'm like, dang,
Amazing.
breaking news
Yes.
again. Hell
Always.
yeah.
I don't even need to read the news. I just go to Kiki's
Yeah.
page. And also follow along for more Janet on her podcast, This Side of the Hill. I always want to call it the other side of the hill.
It's this side of the hill.
This side of the hill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's our side of the hill, the valley side.
Yeah. It's the other side, but it's this side.
Jason thinks our name sounds like a political podcast, but it's very much
This
not.
side of the hill, the Capitol Hill. Thank you guys so much for watching and listening. We'll be back next week. Bye.
For this all my